Hello everyone, and welcome to Math 1324, Section W190. This is your 8-week course, and so this is going to go very quickly. I want to use this orientation time to show you where everything is and what's expected, what my expectations are. But the bottom line is we got to work hard for 8 weeks, and then you'll be done and you'll have this out of the way. If you are also taking 1325, that one starts after this one ends in the second 8 weeks. So if you've already registered for that, great. If you still need it, I think there's a few slots left. But let's go through here. So announcements are here. Be sure you check these really frequently, and for sure I will put out a new announcement on either Saturday or Sunday for the next week, just to remind you what's coming up in the suggested calendar. So over here is the content browser. Has pretty much everything I think you need, and so you shouldn't have to go hunt for it anywhere but here. Here's where you access Pearson to do your homework and tests. There's two places. You can either hit the purple right here that says Open Pearson. If you want to try this, you can do the down click and hit Open in New Window. So both of those should work. So let's go through the content, and we'll just go through these briefly, and then you can look through it more on your own. Important resources for the spring for students, you could go through that. Also, just-in-time resources is there. Instructor plan, let's kind of go over that. So let's see. Here is my information, my office phone, my office location, office hours, and those have just recently changed because my schedule changed. So on Tuesday and Thursday, and I do have it in another place corrected, but this would be 8:30 to 9:30 on both of those spots. So if you are on campus and want to come 8:30 to 9:30, I will be in the office, and then Zoom by request if you need that. You do not have to buy a hard copy of the book because this is inclusive access. You get one with your tuition, so you have an electronic book. You do need a graphing calculator. I teach with the TI 8384, and so that's the one that would be easiest for you to use. If you have another one that you like and that it will do everything we do, you're welcome to use it. Here are the objectives. You can read through those. Course attendance and participation. So you need to understand that you must not miss more than 25% of the class. In an 8-week class, that means 2 weeks of inactivity, and you can be dropped on the 3rd week. So keep that in mind. We'll talk more about how I do attendance in a minute, but you can't miss more than 25%, all right? This is the suggested calendar outline. We're gonna look at the real calendar in a minute, but this shows you what all we're covering. Then the grading. My work is divided into homework, tests, and final exam. The homework counts 30%, and you can do your homework over and over again till you get 100, which is what I hope you would get. You get 3 tries on every question, and then it'll regenerate. So that's how homework works. Tests, you have 2 tries on each test. The higher of the 2 will count in your average. Now, you don't have to take it twice. If you do really well one time, hey, that's great. But if you don't do what you want, you can take it a second time. That counts 50% of your final average. The red part here is important. Before each test is available, all homework must be completed with a 70. So that means the test isn't going to open for you if you have not passed the homework in that chapter. So do the homework, do it in order, and when you have gotten your passing scores at least, but really hopefully better than just passing, you can open the test and work that. And I would suggest doing all the homework for a chapter, then do the test, and then repeat that for the next chapter. Some people wait and do all the tests at the end. I don't think that usually is the best option. Final exam is cumulative. It covers everything, and it counts 20%, and you get one shot at that. So you want to prepare for that, okay? Now, here's my attendance issue. In this online course, attendance is based on participation Sunday to Saturday. So I check it on Sunday for the previous week. And so you have to have things done by Saturday to count for that previous week. You must work each week, either on a homework or a test. If you don't do any work in a week, that counts as an absence. And this is wrong. This is for a 16-week. So I need to fix that. Remember I said if you are allowed 2 such weeks, so I will fix that before you guys log in. But if you get a third one, you could be dropped for attendance issues. So be sure that you keep up with that, all right? All right, so I think that's mainly what we need for this one. And you can read more on your own. All right, here's my contact info, door schedule, and office hours. If you need to remember anything about where my office is in the math building, my office extension, and this does have the correct office hours, 8:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday, Thursday mornings, and then 12 to 3 in the afternoon on Tuesdays, and Zoom by request. So that's that. Let's look at the next thing. All right, let's look at the calendar. So it looks very much like what you saw, but because this is 8-week, everything is out there at the beginning, and the final exam is not available till February 23rd. And then it is due March 3rd, because that's the week that the course is going to end. Everything else, you'll see the due dates, and they will be at the end as well. So you have a lot of flexibility in this because it's an 8-week, but you also have to stay up. You have to stay up. But the final exam will not show up till February 23rd. And then you can do it here. Okay, so here is the bulk of the work to help you prepare for your homework and your tests. Problem set, lectures, and videos. So if we go here to problem sets, here's chapter 2. And those should be links. And we're going to look at 2.1, for example. These are blank problems, and you may not know, you may know how to do these, you may not know how, but that's what we're going to learn. And there are 7 questions in this particular set. So you have those blank problems, but that may not show you much. Let's go look at the lecture notes. So here are the lecture notes, and again, chapter 2 lectures. And the links are there, and we will go to 2.1. If you were in class face-to-face, we would be taking notes down, and we would be going over these examples, and we would get to the problem set, and you would do these in class, and I would be going over them. So the work is all here. That might be enough for some people, not for everybody. And so I also have a video lecture of me going through these. So let's go back and look at the videos. All right, so we have looked at a problem set and a set of lecture notes for 2.1. We go here to video lectures. Here's chapter 2. These are on my YouTube channel. And for 2.1, I think something happened and part of it broke off, so it is actually in 2 pieces, and then the rest are fine. These are shorter, a little bit shorter down here. But anyway, that's a video of me going through it, so you're going to hear me talk and talk about the problems and how that's being worked and that sort of thing. So for every section, you have a set of practice problems, a set of lecture notes, and a video lecture. So for every one. Now let's go look at the homework. So let's say you've done all that stuff for 2.1 and you are ready to do 2.1 homework. You can either hit here or here. Let's try the purple one. And you probably will not see these instructor tools. This is on my end. but you would see this. And if we go to My Math Lab, all assignments, you can go there. And if you'll notice, everything, like I said, is due March 3rd at 11:59. The final exam is not showing here because it's not a test, it's a quiz. So it's in that category. So this shows you, let's look at the homework. All right, there were 7 questions in that problem set. Let's go to question 1 just for example. And so here it is. And when you know how to do this, you're going to figure out that the answer is an ordered pair. Let's click on that. And our answer is going to go in this box. And you notice down here, there's nothing showing up right now. But if I click in the box, it knows I may need some of these icons. And if you hit more, there's a bunch. When you get to matrices in chapter 2, here's some icons for that. So you may need that. You will need that. But let's do less for now. This needs an ordered pair. So I'm going to grab this ordered pair icon. That makes it easy. I don't have to put parentheses or anything. I just have to put some numbers. So let's put a 5 and maybe a 1. I have no idea. So down at the bottom it says check answer. Let's check it. And it tells me it's not right. It'll give me some information. You should read through that. We say, okay, maybe you change it. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to check the answer again. It's still wrong. Now we have a final check. So you get those 3 tries. When I hit final check, it says that's incorrect. Answer is 2-1. Your answer was 5-1. At this point, if you're tired of looking at this question, you can go on to the next one. If you want to try it again with different numbers, you can hit similar question, and it changed the equations. So until you get it right, it's going to be counted wrong there, right? The other thing that I would say is to, if you're really struggling on a question, if you go to Get More Help, click there and hit Ask My Instructor. It's going to send me an email with your specific question, your specific numbers here, and you can tell me what you've tried, what you're struggling with, what you need help with, etc. But that means you don't have to do any screenshots or try to remember what it was. You just send me that if you're struggling, and then maybe I can jumpstart you or see what you're doing wrong. So that's what I would like. If you are really struggling on something that you've tried the video, you've tried everything, and it's just not working, then feel free to send that to me for help, okay? Then you can hit save, and you are, right now, I don't have that one right, okay? So that's how we'll do the homework. Just a real quick to show you, we were looking up here at homework. If we hit quizzes and tests, here is the test. It has that flag that reminds you have to pass it. They're all that way. And here's the time limits. On all but chapter 3 and 4, it's 2 hours and you get 2 tries. This one's a little longer. You do have to submit some work with that. And I'll have an announcement to remind you about that, but you'll have to do it within the test. If you struggle with that, you can always email it to me. So that's about that. I did want to show you the gradebook. Now you can look at the Brightspace gradebook, and it should be accurate as well, but the most accurate is the Pearson. And so if we go back to here, and let's get here. If we did MyLab Math Course Home, and this comes up, you won't see these two, but you should have assignments, gradebook, and e-text. Here is the gradebook. And so you can see I opened that one, but you can see your grades. Your final average or your overall average will always show there. This tells you how many total assignments you have, 28, 29, and 5, 34 total things. Tests, quizzes is the final exam. So there you go. It wasn't showing yet, so that's why we didn't see it, but it will pop up. So this is the gradebook. That's how to get to that. The only other thing I would say on the handouts, there is a college algebra packet. There is a good bit of algebra in here. That might help you. And then there's some handouts that are specific to the course. And they're not, some of them are not in order. Here's all, that looks like chapter 7. But for matrices, right here, this is chapter 2 information. And then this is chapter 3 and 4. Here's 7, and here's 10. And here's some Venn diagrams. So if you're starting a course and you think there may be something that would help you in the handouts, come here and grab that. Okay, I think that's going to do it. Let's get busy, and I look forward to working with you, and be sure that you are working each week and working toward that goal of finishing. Look forward to doing this.